What happened when you said that you put knife?
Oh God. That was really freaky. It was like I woke up and I was in the kitchen. That was just scary. But when I see him, it's like I can feel him first, and then I see just like the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I see him. Does it make sense? It's like a shadow. It's like human shadow, but they haven't got the features of a human. You can't see the features and stuff.
See him.
I can feel him. Like it's as if, you know, when someone goes and touches you, it's like I can feel when he's reaching out to touch me. I can feel him, or when he's saying something behind me, it's like someone screaming in my ear. But when you turn around, there's no one there. So when he does say stuff or when he does do stuff, I can feel it and I can hear it and I can kind of see it, but I can't see it. Do you know what I mean? It's so hard to explain, but... Well, when he... Like, last time when I was in bed, it was as if he was trying to get my attention. You know? He was right behind me and I was on the phone to... It's like a feeling of, like... I get really tight in the chest and it feels like my throat gets really, really tight, as if I can't say anything. My head gets very stiff and then it gets very, very loose. Like I can't control my head. It's like my head's the weight of, like, you know, a ton. It's so heavy.
You passed out a few times as well?
Yeah, I've woken up on the floor a couple of times. I've passed out. I guess it's because my head just, like, was terrible. But that's the feeling. It's mostly chest tightness and throat tightness. Like before I was associating it with panic attacks and anxiety. But I guess now it must have been this. Because I don't get it as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm. And you don't feel it now at all?
I feel great now.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, let me read some more and then I'll ask you some more questions. I just want to make sure that it's true. I just want to really want it to be true.
Yeah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس.
You felt okay?
No.
Normal. Okay, I'm not going to push this any further than that. I'm not going to try and convince myself something's still there. But I have to say to you that they can come back, and the only way you're going to protect yourself is by praying 5 times a day and adhering to the Quran and Sunnah, and that's the way you protect yourself from this creation of Allah. Allah was created. So from this is you keep an eye on her character. If you do start talking to yourself, do not keep it to yourself. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't have a relationship with with something that you cannot see, or you can see it, no one else can see it. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Get help straight away.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is by making dua, making supplications to Allah.
Listen to the Quran.
Yeah, don't think that people are going to think you're crazy, because I do not think for one little bit that you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Okay, so tell me your story.
I didn't tell anyone for like, I think 11 years. And then at secondary school, I went to an all-girls school. And I had a best friend, and she used to say, oh, you're so perfect at everything. She said, you work hard, you're in all the best classes, you're in all the top sets. And I was like, yeah, but you don't know everything. Like, just because something seems like it is, it doesn't mean it is. So I told her what happened. And she ran off and she told my teacher. And then my teacher called my parents. And my parents came in and they got really upset. What else? And so I used to see him outside my school every day. and he used to say stuff and everything. So when I was 16, I had to go to court, and he got found not guilty, and it was so hard. Like I rejected God and everything. Like I completely said I don't want to be a Muslim anymore. Sorry, it's so embarrassing.
That's okay.
And so I got very upset, and then one night, it was soon after the case, so I saw this woman in my sleep, and I didn't believe it. I said, like, who are you? Like, what do you want? And she said, oh, I'm here to help you. You'll be born again. You'll die and you'll be born again. And then I didn't believe her, and she pinched my leg, and there was a bruise on my leg, and she said, oh, tomorrow you'll see the bruise. And so the next day I woke up, and I couldn't believe it. Like, it freaked me out a bit. And then, so I ended up taking a load of tablets, and next minute I know I woke up in hospital, and like my family were there and stuff, and I had to go to a psychiatrist, and it was so embarrassing because obviously for medical purposes they put it down as if you're like, you know, you're suicidal or something. And obviously trying to tell a counsellor like what you've seen and stuff, they don't believe you. Obviously they think you're mental. So I just decided to stop going because I thought. So I told my dad, and my dad he went to the mosque and he did something, and then she was standing outside my door and she would ask me, take that away, take that away. I want to come in, but I didn't know because my dad didn't tell me anything. Yeah, then a couple of years later at his house, I was experiencing other things, like a little girl. She was trying to play with me, like she was playing with my toes and stuff. And yeah, and then seeing stuff like recently, like a tall guy, like a really tall guy in my dream with dogs. And the dogs, like I have this star, and the dogs want to destroy this star, and then I prayed to God, like to protect the star, because I hid it in the bush behind me. It was a wall or a bush, and then all of a sudden stars appeared everywhere, and they got confused. What else happened? Yeah, so then we came here for the first session, and then after that in the car journey home, I think I fell asleep. The tall black figure was there, and there was these two white things, and they had my hands and they laid me down, and then they compressed that black thing, like they compressed it completely till he disappeared, and I felt so peaceful and happy. I remember waking up and he was like, oh, how do you feel? I was like, I feel so happy and relaxed. What else happened? Yeah, so when we went back to his flat, I put holy water everywhere, and we did prayers and stuff, and then all of a sudden I started seeing like these white orbs. It was like white lights or orbs, and it was bright, like bright and sunny in the room. Like it wasn't nighttime or anything, it was daytime, and I just see these orbs everywhere, and they're just floating and stuff, like floating from room in the living room. There was a couple, I think there was 4 or 5 in the living room. They were in the corridor, in his bedroom. They were literally everywhere, like just floating around. And I felt really relaxed and happy. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Yeah, so then I went back to my university accommodation, and one night I experienced something. I was talking to my husband on the phone, and I felt like something was in the room. It was pitch black, and I could hear footsteps in the room. And then I felt like this thing behind me. I could feel a presence behind me, basically, and it was screaming in my ear. It must have been like asking for attention, like, you know, trying to get me to turn around. So after I hung the phone with him, I wanted to know what it was. So I sat up and I started talking to him, and it was the tall dark man. And he was telling me everything. Like he told me, he was telling me why he did what he did and how he saw. And he followed me from a young age. He was following me around, and he was keeping an eye on me. He wanted to like ensure that I was okay. That's what he said. And then when I met him, when I was 15, when I had met him, he got really annoyed with him because I was a really hardworking student. Like I promised myself when I was 8 that I would start like doing my grades, because I thought it would be like like a bonus for getting married, because anyway, yeah, so he got really annoyed with him because he thought that he was a threat, like he'd stop me from doing what I wanted to do in life. And then he told me how the woman was sent by someone from his family, but he didn't want to tell me who, because he said it would just cause trouble in relationships. Excuse me. I asked him who, he wouldn't tell me, and he said that during the last session he doesn't like you at all, and that he didn't want to come back. He said, you can tell him when I'm gone. I said, okay. He said, I promise I'll never come back. He said, I didn't want to hurt you in any way, and that he's been with me for so long, and that he just wants me to be, you know, to move on and be happy. And then when he came back to the car, he was sitting in the back, and I was looking at him, and he was saying bye. And then when I turned around, he was out of the car and he was on the side of the road near the grass, and he was just standing there waving, and that's the last I've seen of him.